Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Saturday morning practice. Good morning, Rebecca. We'll be spending the next hour and a half together, what I've been calling a boot camp, but lately I'm starting to call it a sanctuary. A sanctuary is a place where you want to find some protection against the evil and the cruelty, which we have plenty today. But a sanctuary is also a place where you look and seek for the source of positive power, energy. Last week, at the end of the practice, someone says, I miss those talk. I miss those talk at the end of the class. Well, there's a reason that I stopped giving those talk. One is that I start to repeat myself. But more importantly, I think I want to redirect your attention to within. And rather than relying on a third party, whether it's me or anybody else, to give you a source of comfort, it's more important that you look for it from within. And for that purpose, I will give one more talk today at the end of the class. And it's what I call the power from within. Last Tuesday, Venerable Hong, who spends his time in prison bringing compassion and loving kindness to those who are incarcerated, gave a talk in Cantonese. And in the beginning, he mentioned an individual who had committed murder as a gangster and was sentenced 25 years to life. A very violent individual, very unfortunate individual with a lot of difficulty in his upbringing. But in any case, I want to talk about this case where he found the energy from within, and he's actually getting ready to go up to the parole board. So in any case, if you want to stay for that, that would be the end of the class. But the whole idea of the talk is really bring the focus into within. The power that we have from within, the energy, the positive energy that we have in within. But in order to experience that, the first thing we have to do is to learn to anchor a mind. The reason that we need to anchor a mind is that we don't want to feed the evil. The more you react to the evil, the more you feed it, sometimes unknowingly. And so for this hour and a half, we're going to learn how to anchor a mind on a body, on a breath. And today we're coming back to the breathing exercise, a yogic exercise called pranayama. Yama means practice, prana means breathing, but particularly breathing with the stomach. So to get ready for that, we're going to be doing some joint exercise because we require all 6 joints, the wrist, the elbow, the shoulder, and its equivalent in the lower part of the body, which are the heel, the knee, and the hip. And we're going to be using this joint exercise as a way to learn to anchor our body, to experience the pain and suffering, and then to learn to let go of the pain and suffering for our own sake. So let's come back to our body first. Let's put our energy and the focus on the lower back. Let's walk up the spine one step at a time. Stretch the spine towards the ceiling until you get to the very top of the head. Then I want you to lean back. And as you lean back, I want you to start to feel the lightness in your body because you're starting to shift the weight of your upper torso on top of the spine as opposed to supporting with your muscle. Then I want you to take the shoulder, lift up the shoulder, open the shoulder as far back as you can, and then relax the shoulder. And always relax it the second time. Now, whenever you're under stress, the first thing you want to do is to adjust your upper torso to sit properly like that, to remove the weight of your body, to enjoy that little bit of uh, comfort by just not using your muscle. Now I want you to anchor your mind on the center of your palm. I want to bring up your hands slowly, slowly, all the way up to shoulder level. Now I want you to focus on the wrists. And then I want you to turn your wrists doing the joint exercise. But it's very important that as you turn your wrists, that your mind is completely anchored on your wrists, which means that you do it very slowly and understanding each turn is individual from the other. Each turn has a beginning and an end. And get into the habit of whenever you are in the beginning, you ask yourself, where's my mind? My mind ought to be where it's supposed to be, which right now is on my wrist. So bring your mind back onto your wrist. That's number one. Number two is that when you get to the end and you finish this one cycle, now it's time for you to say, okay, I did one, let me do another one. The next one ought to be at least as good as the first one. We call that diligence. So one turn at a time, exercise your body as well as your mind, understanding the beginning, that's where you make the commitment, understanding the end, and that's where you recommit, what we call diligence. One turn at a time, one turn at a time. Now we're going to turn the other way. So make sure that your mind is on your wrist. And as you turn, I want you to focus on the change in your body. Examine the change in your body. See if there's any pain in your wrists, any heat that you generate, any sweat maybe, any numbness. Be very mindful of your body. Now, I want you to lower your hand, but before you do that, anchor your mind on the center of your palm to bring it back down the same way you bring it up. Back to the spine again. Stretch the spine towards the ceiling. Lean back, relax, lift up your shoulder, open your shoulder, relax. We're going from the wrist to the elbow. So once again, anchor your mind on the center of your palm. Bring it up, all the way up to shoulder level. Now shift the focus from the center of your palm to the elbow. Once again, at the beginning of each turn, commit yourself. Focus on the elbow. Examine the change in your elbow. And then when you finish with one turn, recommit, and ask yourself, I'm going to do the next one as good as I do the first one turn at a time. Now you're in fact building the foundation of mindfulness now, which start with faith. Faith in that you have positive energy mode somewhere. I would argue that it's actually inside of you, not outside of you. Don't look for the outside, look for the inside. Now we're going to turn the other way. But faith also means confidence, faith in yourself. And how do you gain that confidence? Well, it requires the next two, they're like the ingredients of your concrete foundation. The next one is what we call mindfulness, where you anchor your mind on your body or on your breath. And now bring it back down. Open the shoulder again. Lean back. Relax the shoulder, relax the spine. What glues together the faith and the mindfulness is what we call diligence. All three together forms a foundation. Now we're moving from the elbow from the wrist to the elbow to the shoulder. I want you to come back to the center of your palm. Bring up your hands. Cross your hand this time. Bring it in front of you. Bring it on top of you. I want you to stretch the upper torso towards the ceiling as hard as you can. And before you come down, I want you to focus on the center of your palm. I want you to turn the wrist 90 degrees. I want you to open the shoulder. Feel that pain on your shoulder. And then let go of the pain. Come back to the center of your palm. Let go of the pain. Let go of the pain. The pain is gone. The pain is gone. If you get attached to the pain, that becomes suffering. Stretch as hard as you can. Open that shoulder. Point the center of your palm outward. And then relax, let go of the pain, bring it back up in front of you, on top of you, stretch. Open the shoulder, feel the pain on your shoulder, let go of the pain, come back to the center of your palm, let it go, bring it up, stretch, open, and then relax. Now do it the other way. Open first, stretch, bring it back down, open first, stretch, and then bring it back down. Open first, stretch, and then bring it back down. One last time. Open first, stretch, and then bring it back down. Now, the pain on your shoulder is a placeholder for all the pain and suffering when you're outside this class. I don't want you to bring it to the class, right? So, I want you to feel the pain, whether it's physical pain or mental pain, and just remember after you feel it, you have to accept it, and then you have to let it go. You have to let it go. Okay? All right? It's like the Empire State Building falling down. That's what's happening to our country right now. And now is not the time to stand underneath and arguing which part of the building falls on down first. Now's the time to find some sanctuary. All right? That's what we're trying to do here. Stay away from that for a while, but more importantly, use the time to find the inner energy in yourself. All right. Well, let's continue with the shoulder. Come back to the spine, stretch the spine, lean back, relax, lift up the shoulder, open the shoulder, and then relax. We're going to go from front to back. We're really going to feel the pain this time now. Focus on the center of your palm, bring it in front of you, bring it on top of you, and then open the shoulder as far back as you can. Really feel that pain, accept that pain, let go of the pain. Come back to the center of your palm. Anchor your mind on the center of your palm, just like with your little fishing boat in the middle of the ocean. You're right in top inside the hurricane, and you just have to find a place to anchor. Otherwise, your vehicle will flip over, and you have no chance of surviving this. All right, same idea. You ready? Lift it up all the way on top of you. Open the shoulder. Feel the pain. Accept that pain. Let go of the pain. Let it go. Open the shoulder. Feel the pain. Accept that pain and let it go. All the way up. Feel it. Accept it and then let it go. All the way up. Feel it. Accept it and then let it go. One more time. All the way up. Feel it. Accept it and then let it go. From the back to front. Lift it up. Stretch, bring it back down, all the way to the back. Stretch, and then bring it back down, all the way to the back. Stretch, bring it back down. One more time, all the way to the back. And then stretch, and then bring it back down. Now it's been a little less than 15 minutes. And you say, oh, yeah, we've been exercising for 15 minutes. No, we didn't. We've been meditating for 15 minutes. It's just that we're meditating in motion. It's mindfulness in motion. So human beings are capable of sitting, standing, lying down, and walking. Walking includes exercise. And we want to learn how to be mindful in all the postures. So as much as we're capable of meditating when we're sitting, we can also meditate when we're standing. We can meditate when we lie down. And then we can also meditate when we're walking and when we're exercising. The difference is when you're walking, exercising, you are in motion and you anchor your mind on your body. And when you're sitting, lying down, and standing, you're not in motion, then you anchor your mind on your breath. So now we're sitting. We do exactly what we did when we were exercising, which is we start with the body. We anchor your mind on the bottom of the spine. We stretch your spine. We lean back and feel the lightness on the body. Then we relax. We open the shoulder and then we relax. And now we come back to the breath. We focus on the breath. We start with knowing. I know that I'm breathing in. I know that I'm breathing out. One breath at a time. So I was talking about how whenever there's pain and discomfort and outrage and all that, you have to learn to feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Does that mean we don't get outraged? Does that mean we don't fight back? No, not at all. It does not mean that we don't resist. We do. We just have to do it intelligently and not to be overwhelmed by our own emotion. So when I say accept it and let it go, it means two things, both of which can be described as emotional intelligence. One is how to use the emotions intelligently, right? It's like you're a prosecutor or you're a defense attorney. You're in the court. You're outraged just like everybody else. But the outrage doesn't help you. You actually have to manage your outrage and then find opportunity to attack. Same thing. That's one reason. That's one interpretation of emotional intelligence. The other definition of emotional intelligence is to take the word intelligence and turn around, as opposed to intelligently. Intelligence could means intelligence agent. Turn your body and your breath into an intelligence agent. So whatever emotions you have, the body and the breath will tell you long before you know that you have fallen into that hole, right? That you couldn't climb out. And that's why we have these emotional problems is that something happened to us. We get very sad, very outrageous and whatever. But instead of understanding and accepting it and then think about how to react to it intelligently, we fall into it. We fall into it. And now once we fall into it, it takes days and weeks before we can come out. Because no one is there to tell us this, hey, come on, don't go there. Right? So we need to train our body and our breath to be that intelligent agent. Say, hey, something's happening. Something's happening. My breath changes. Ooh, it's enough. It's enough. Let me come back. Right? So that's what we're doing here. So don't think that letting it go is passivity, is being very passive. It's not. It's actually being very proactive. All right? Okay, let's do one more. Let's do one more and then we move on to the meditation. All right? All right, the sitting meditation. All right. Now, once again, stretch. Always stretch your spine. Always lift up your shoulder. Always lean back, and then open the shoulder, and then relax. And all this time, feeling how you're removing stress from your body. Always start with the body. Now we're going to put the left hand in front. We're going to put the right hand. Now we're not going to move the left hand because we're using the right brain. I mean the left brain. Okay. We're only going to use the right hand. So follow the right hand, anchor your mind on the center of your palm, bring it up, open it, feel that pain, accept that pain, and then let go of the pain. Let go of the pain doesn't mean you don't react to it. It just means that you react to it intelligently. Left hand, bring it in front of you, open it, feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Sit up straight, right hand, open it, feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Left hand, bring it in front of you, open it, feel it, accept it, and let it go. Left hand, feel it, accept it, and then let it go. One last time. All right, all the way around. Feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Back to the breath, back to the breathing, going from moving to sitting down, one breath at a time. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. Okay? And when you're in the middle of chaos like we are today, these days, you really have to understand how to react. And when you train yourself so that your body and your breath are the agents, you know there's something going on. You're reacting to it. And because you have these agents, like you have like the canary that you bring into the cave, you have these early warning signal. The first thing you ask is that, is my life in danger? Is my family's life in danger? Is my personal wealth in danger? And if they're not, then you can say, hey, I can deal with it. It's okay. I can deal with it. Right? Now, on the other hand, if your life is in danger, your family is in danger, your personal wealth is in danger, all that, then it requires some energy. And, right? So at least you have some time. You give yourself some time, some space, and say, hey, I know how to deal with this. I know how to deal with this. All right. And that's what it's all about, how to deal with chaos and all these cruelties happening out there. And I think I talked enough. Okay. So come back. And now we're getting ready to do some meditation. Meditation is very important. Okay. Meditation is very important because we have a lot of stress in us and we need to learn how to relieve those stress. Yesterday, I was teaching my Cantonese class, and I happened to have this bottle in front of me, and I showed them. I said, "Do you know what this is?" Right? Everybody knows what that is. Melatonin. How many of you take melatonin? You can buy that at Costco, right? You don't need a prescription. Everybody knows. I take melatonin because I cannot afford to sleep, and melatonin seems to help. Some people say they do. Some people say they don't. But melatonin is naturally in your body. It's naturally in your body. So why you lack of melatonin? Melatonin is important to make you go to sleep. It's a signal that tells your body to let it go and then to relax and go to sleep. Right? Because for millions and hundreds of millions of years we live under the sun. So when the sun goes down, our body says, okay, it's now time to go into what we call the rest and digest mode. Our body reacts by sending out melatonin, and then you go to sleep. So why is it that we have to take additional melatonin, take it from outside? For the same reason that why do we have to take hydrocortisone or cortisol or steroid when there are plenty of it in our body? Well, because they're in the wrong place in the wrong time. Right? They're in the wrong place in the wrong time because we don't know how to live under the sun anymore. And when we are out in the sun, we're in fight or flight. That's the time when you want to have cortisol in your body. And when you go to sleep, you don't want cortisol in your body. Because if you have any more cortisol in your body, then there's no melatonin. The two cannot coexist. Same thing. Why is there a snooze button in your alarm clock or even oh, you said I was just gonna give me five more minutes of sleep? Well, that's not the scientific reason. The scientific reason is that you need time to wake up because your body is full of melatonin when you're asleep. And when your alarm clock gets on and you just jump out of bed, you still have plenty of melatonin. You don't have enough cortisol. That time is for the body to say, hey, it's time to wake up. Let me put out some cortisol. And that's why those who have diabetes knows that there's things called the early morning things. I could be fasting for 12 hours I stop eating at 6 o'clock. I get up at 6 o'clock. I don't eat for 12 hours, but my glucose goes up in the morning because that's when you have cortisol and your body start to convert the glucose in your liver to give you energy, right? So the problem with not being able to sleep and the problem that you have to take melatonin is because you don't know how to manage your stress. That's one problem. The other problem is even worse. Because you don't know how to manage your stress, you have too much cortisol and you become resistant to the cortisol, and now your body inflamed because you have so much steroid in your body, but yet you don't know how to use it. And you actually have to inject more. So how do you fix all that? Well, it turns out the simplest thing is to learn how to breathe through your stomach. When you breathe your stomach, you're actually using more your diaphragm. And what the diaphragm does is that it cycles you between the fight or flight and the rest and digest. When you breathe in, you open your stomach, you actually have energy sending up in your spine, exciting your mind to send out cortisol, reduce inflammation in your body. And as soon as you're done, you relax, you breathe in, you breathe out, you open your stomach, and then it turns the body into the other way. So you're cycling yourself between the sympathetic, which we call the fight or flight, and the parasympathetic, which we call the rest and digest. You can actually measure that. It's called the heart rate variability. And heart rate variability, having heart rate variability, meaning that you regain the elasticity between the two. All right, enough of that. Let's start to practice. Let's start to practice. Let's learn how to breathe with your stomach. Let's learn how to cycle the energy in our system. Okay. All right. So we're gonna do two more exercise. One, put ourselves in the um, fight or flight, which is an energetic exercise. So come back to the spine, lift up your shoulder, open your shoulder, lift and then open your shoulder, lean back, relax. Let's bring out a right hand. Let's make a fist. Let's follow the fist. Get ready. One. Feel that vibration coming back to your shoulder. Two. Down. Down. Sit up straight. Up. Up. Down. Down. One more time. Up. Up. Down. Down. Now open that. Follow both hands. One. Come back. Two. Come back. Three. Come back. Four. Come back. Five. Come back. Now your body is full of stress hormone, which is very good. Your body is filled with cortisol. And if you're sensitive to cortisol, they actually reduce inflammation in your body. All that is good. But now we have to restore the sensitivity. And we do that by the next exercise, which is a meditate, which is a restorative exercise. We sit up straight, we open the shoulder, we lean back, and we relax. We put a thumb in front of your shoulder, we roll up the four fingers. We divide this into four parts. First part, we lift up our elbow, we lift up our shoulder, we lift up our upper torso as if we're bringing our shoulder to our ears. Then we point the elbow back, we open the shoulder, we open all the way back as if we're squeezing a tennis ball in the back. Then we bring down the elbow, we relax, and we continue. So we're pointing the elbow forward, we're looking down, we're bending our neck as well as our back. From here, we lift up again. We start to look in front of towards the camera. Then we open the shoulder. We're looking at the ceiling, 45-degree. Then we bring it down until we're looking at the floor again. Close your eye. As you bring up your elbow, you breathe in. You breathe all the way until you open your shoulder. And then you breathe out all the way until you're looking at the floor. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Relax. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let's do 2 more times. Breathe in. Breathe out. One last time. Breathe in. And breathe out. Let go of your hand. Completely focus on the breath. All right. Now we're ready to do meditation. We always come back to the body. We always wanted to sit in such a way that we reduce stress on the body by not using the muscle. So first we're going to check our legs. The legs is like the pedestal. The rest of the body is like the bell, the Liberty Bell. So you can either sit on a chair with the bottom of your feet touching the floor. But when you do, want to make sure that the height of the chair is just right, so you're not dangling your feet, or that you can comfortably put the bottom of your feet below your knee and not in front and not in the back. Also, try not to lean on the back of your chair. If you need support, put a pillow right in the middle of your spine. If you sit like I do, you sit on the yoga mat or sitting mattress, you want to make sure that the thighs, the knees are actually touching the mat. And if you don't, put some pillows and blankets. You're not using any leg muscle. Then you want to relax your hands. You don't need any hand gesture right now, okay? And finally, you get to your spine. You stretch your spine upward. Lean back, relax. Lift up your shoulder, open, relax. That takes the load off of your back muscle. Now we want to do the same for our neck muscle, which is supporting our head. So we lean back the forehead, so the ears on top of the shoulder, and then we tuck in the chin, so the top of the head is on top of the spine. Now you want to relax the eyelid. I don't want you to open your eye. I don't want you to shut your eye. I just want you to relax it. Think about the baby and how they sleep. And they sleep like they're pretending to sleep, because they just relax the eyelid. Sometimes you can see the eyeball a little bit. They're just relaxed. It's when they shut their eye that they're actually pretending to sleep. So I just want you to do that. Now the Chinese have a way of describing this, which is they think of the eyelid as the window shade, and you're just lowering down the drape. Finally, I want you to take the tip of the tongue and put it behind your teeth, where the teeth meets the roof of your mouth. Then I want you to close your mouth. I want you to feel the inside of your mouth. Feel the wetness inside. That is the indication that you are in fact in rest and digest. When you're in flight or flight, the first thing it does is that it turns off your saliva gland. That's why modern people drink so much water. They carry gallons of water with them because they're so thirsty. And they talk about how hydration is important. Hydration is important. The self-hydration is even more important. Making sure your inside mouth is always wet. Inside mouth is wet, but I have this thing in my throat. But in any case, drink a little bit of water. Okay, now that you have this posture, we're going to do the first step, which is we focus our mind on the belly button. Excuse me. And we focus on the breath. When we know that we're breathing in, let's take that belly button and bring it all the way out across the room. And when you know that you're breathing out, let's take that belly button and bring it all the way back as if you're collapsing the belly button to the back of your spine. When you breathe in, relax your stomach, bring the belly button forward. When you breathe out, bring the belly button back, collapsing the stomach. One breath at a time. Let's sit for 3 minutes. Okay. Now this meditation practice um, is a traditional Chinese Taoist meditation technique called the microcosmic orbit. But since I'm not a Taoist, um, we actually use it as the foundation for our meditative Buddhist meditative practice. And so instead of calling it microcosmic orbit, we actually call it the wandering dragon chasing the pearl. There's a reason for that. And but whatever you call it, it actually comes in 3 steps. That was just the first step. That was called mindful of your breath to create chi. So without really worry about what that means, let's focus on the health benefit. I mentioned how breathing with your stomach exercise your diaphragm. So when you move the belly button forward, you're bringing down the diaphragm, and you put your body into the fight or flight. And when you breathe out, you bring back this belly button. You're actually pushing up the diaphragm, and and you enter into the rest and digest. So this allows you to cycle between the two autonomous nervous system, and modern people call it the autonomous nerve um, therapy, because the problem you have when you can't afford sleep or your body inflamed and all that is called autonomous nerve disorder. Now, one of the Chinese believe that when you do this exercise, it also does something else. It also massage your small intestines, creating some static electricities, what we call qi. And now it's time to bring that static electricities around your body using your spine. And we do that by focusing on the bottom of our spine. We continue to monitor our breath. When you know that you're breathing in, you start from the bottom of the spine, you go up slowly towards the top of your head, you stretch your spine until you get to the top of the head. And then when you breathe out, you come down from the forehead, the nose, the tongue, all the way back to the belly button, and you lean back and relax. It's very simple. When you breathe in, you're entering into fight or flight, what we call yang, energy under the sun. All the yang energy travels in your spine. That's what we call the guardian vessel, all the way to the top of the head. Stretch your spine, okay? You stretch your spine, you actually lower the resistance, electrical resistance in the spine. That's why it's so important to stretch your spine when you breathe in. And then when you breathe out, you come back gently to the belly button. Now, this one cycles the qi between the two most important connective tissue in your body. One is the diaphragm I mentioned. The other one is the one that separates your left brain from the right brain. All right, so let's sit for 5 minutes practicing the second step. Make sure you work with your body, so when you breathe in, you stretch, lower the resistance so the electricity can travel to the top of the head, through the membrane, and then come back down. Relax. Breathe in, stretch upper torso. Breathe out, lean back and relax. Keep examining. This is like to do the joint exercise. There's a beginning and an end. The beginning is when you breathe in. That's when you commit yourself. And then when you breathe out, come back to the belly button. That's the end. And that's where you recommit. And we'll call that diligence. Only through diligence would you actually understand what it means by wandering dragon chasing the pearl. Where does the pearl come from? We'll talk about that in the end of class today. Okay? Towards the end of class when we meditate. Okay? Okay, open your eyes. So we'll come back to meditation at the end of class. All right. So we talk about how we create the energy in our stomach using the diaphragm and all that, and then we cycle the electricities, and what called qi. We talk about the yang energy; those are influenced by the sun. And then when we come back, we call the yin energy, which is influenced by the absence of the sun. So we might say, so why is not yin? Why do we call yin the lunar energy? Right? One is the sun, and the other one is the moon. Well, we don't call it the lunar energy because the moon has no molten core. It has no magnetic energy. Here we're talking about magnetic energy. So the absence of the sun is actually influenced by the other stars, the Mercury, the Venus, um, the other star, the Saturn, and so forth. And that's why the Chinese, when they talk about either the yang or the yin, and then when talking about yin, they talk about the five elements: the water, the vegetation, the sun, the soil, and the mineral, like that. Okay, so it's a little bit different. So the yin does not mean lunar, right? Yin also does not mean negative. There is no positive negative. It's a balance between energetic and restorative. It's really that. It's a harmony between the two. All right, so let's do more exercise. Let's do some stretching, particularly deal with the yang energy, right? Very often when so in Chinese, when you go to a medical Chinese medicine doctor, they would say either you're yin deficient, or you're yang deficient, or you're blood deficient, or you're qi deficient. There's a very complicated way of describing that balance in your body, and your illness is really how your body's the energy in your body is out of balance. And the simplest way to think about it is the yang deficiency is all the things you're supposed to do during the day you cannot do. The yin deficiency, the opposite, is all the things you're supposed to do at night you cannot do, including not able to sleep. Yang deficient is you don't have the energy, right? You're tired all the time, or you don't digest well, or you constipate. All of those has to do with a loss of harmony in your chi. All right, so let's do some yang energy exercise. Let's stretch the spine, lift up a shoulder, lean back, relax. Let's do 3 deep breath exercising our diaphragm. Let's put our hands together, locking our fingers, put that right below our belly button, sit up straight. Let's breathe in, following the center of the palm all the way you get until you get to your nose. Then you flip it and breathe out. Lock your elbow, looking straight ahead. Open the fingers, unlock the fingers. Okay. Now point the center of your palm outward. Open the shoulder, and as if you're climbing up the mountain. Back. Breathe in. Breathe out. Looking straight ahead. Climb the mountain. Back. One last time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Looking straight ahead. Climb the mountain. All right. Back to locking the fingers now. Palm facing up, palm facing down. Bring it down. Lock the elbow, looking straight ahead. Bring up your hands. Palm facing forward. Locking your elbow. Palm facing up. Lean back slightly so you're forming a straight line between the bottom of your spine, the top of the head, and the center of your palm. And then you push as hard as you can. You push as hard as you can. And then you lean back, you come back to the middle, and you push as hard as you can. You lean to the left, you come back, and you push. You make to the right, and you come back, and you push. You go to the left, and you come back, and you push. And you go to the right, and you come back. You lower your hand, and you're completely relaxed, right? So those of you who practice yoga, you know how much you need to stretch your spine, right? And there's one exercise called a downward dog. Well, why is it called downward dog? Because the dog does it all the time. So remember I said that back in before I took the time off. I had 2 dogs in my house. I had a German Shepherd and a tiny little one. And the tiny little one's actually older than the German Shepherd, but the tiny little one, well, first of all, small dogs doesn't age so quickly anyway. But the little one he's like 12 years old or something like that. He's like a puppy. But the thing he does is that he stretch all the time. He just keeps stretching like that. That's him. And when you stretch your spine, because the spine is piezoelectric, it actually generates electricity in your spine and it heals itself. Okay. And so as we age, we're losing the marrow in the spine because because it's oxidized, it reduces the volume. And so stretching the spine is that important, right? So that's why that one exercise that they do in yoga class is really good for you. The downward dog, the dog does it. All right, so let's continue. And sit up straight, open the shoulder, lean back, relax. Let's take a right hand, put that on the left shoulder, lean back the forehead so you put in some pressure on the right shoulder. Then you take your left hand, you grab your elbow, you sit up straight, and you stretch again. This time you're stretching your spine to the left. You come back, you sit up straight, you do the opposite. You grab your left elbow and you stretch to the right and you relax. Next one, palm facing up, fingers forward, right hand, put that between your fingers and your palm. You bring down your left hand gently, and then you focus on your elbow. You push your elbow until you lock the elbow, looking straight ahead. You bring your elbow up until the palm is facing the camera at eye level. You don't turn your torso, your upper torso, but instead you bring your left arm to the right, and then you come back, and then you relax. All this time locking the elbow. Okay. Same thing on the right side. Bring it down. Push the elbow. Eyes looking forward. Bring it up, locking the elbow. Without turning the upper torso, bring your right hand to the left. And then come back. And then relax. Next one, open your shoulder. Lean back, relax. Right palm facing up. Left palm facing down. Open the shoulder. Wrist at 90 degrees. Now push the right arm up as if you're pushing the sky. All the way up until you lock your elbow. Maintaining 90 degrees on your wrist. Now you come to your left hand, you push down to earth, lock your elbow, wrist at 90 degrees. Then you bring your right arm back. Then you turn your head to the left until you get to the shoulder. You keep turning your eyes as if you're looking at your back. You bring your eyes back and then you relax. Now you do the other way. Open the shoulder, left hand up, lock your elbow, wrist at 90 degrees. Right hand down, lock your elbow, wrist at 90 degrees. Left hand back, head to the right, eyes to the back, eyes come back, head come back, and then relax. Continue to work on the spine. Okay, this is where all the yang energy. All right. And so we're stretching the spine. Lift up your shoulder, open your shoulder, lean back, relax. Put your hands together, locking your fingers. Put that at the lower part of your spine, palm facing up. Palm facing down, bring your palm down until you lock your elbow. Now focus on top of the head and the center of your palm at the same time and push your palm down and lift up your head. One up, one down, stretch your spine. Stretch it as hard as you can and then relax. Now bring up your palm, hold it, and then lean back your forehead so you're looking at the ceiling 45 degrees. And then bring up your arm as hard, as much as you can. And then relax back to the breathing. Open your shoulder, relax. Put your palm on the back, lean back your forehead so you're looking straight forward. And then you lift up your right shoulder and then relax. Do the other hand, looking straight ahead. Lift up your left shoulder and then relax. Completely relax. Open the shoulder again, sit up straight. The palm, take the right hand, the back of the hand, the lower back, two fingers pointing the left shoulder. Okay, now bring your right shoulder down, your fingers up, and then relax. The other hand, sit up straight, bring your left shoulder down and your fingers up. Take the other hand, fingers touching, looking straight ahead, right shoulder up, left shoulder down, and then relax the other side. Looking straight ahead, left shoulder up, right shoulder down, and then relax. Back to the breathing. One breath at a time. Now sit up straight, open the shoulder, lean back. This is called the reverse Buddha. We put our palms together, fingers facing down, put that at the lower back. We turn our hands so the fingers are pointing up. We lift up our hand, The palm is still touching. We put that in the back, put that on the spine. Now, we open the shoulder, we push the palm forward. One open and one push, right? Hold it, and then relax back to the breathing. Okay, now we do the floor. We're getting ready for today's exercise, the breathing exercise. But before we do that, we're going to complete the joint exercise with the knee. Remember, the wrist is like the heel. Remember, we did the elbow is like the knee, the shoulder is like the hip. Okay. Remember back in the days when we were working all four, right? All right. First the knee. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Now to the heel. Right. Right heel first. Heels up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now left foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to learn to stand on the toes. All right. Focus on top of the head. Lift up your heels. Stand on your toes. And then come down. Impact the heel. Second time. Focus on top of the head. Looking straight ahead. Down. One last time. Down. We're going to learn to stand, balance yourself on the left foot, lift up your right foot, focus on top of your head, looking straight ahead. 1, come back to the top of the head. 2, and 3. Come back to the right. 1, 2, and 3. If you could do all that, there's no way you can have dementia. I'm telling you. Okay. Dementia starts with losing balance and not able to coordinate left and right. It's a problem with the membrane. Okay. All right. The next one is the hip. The hip is very important, especially when we age. Okay. And if your hip is not flexible enough and you fall, you have no way of coming back up. You just go bang like this, a sack of rice. Okay. So hip is very important. Now the Asians, at least those who lived in Asia, has an advantage because they squat all the time. Okay, here we go. Right. So important to work on your hip. So stand on your left foot, put your hands together. Now gently bring it to the right. Form a straight line between the heel, the knee, the hip, and the shoulder. And you turn on that axis as hard as you can. Then you come back to the right foot and you relax. Second time, you come back and you relax. One last time. And you relax. Okay? Now do the opposite. Stand up straight, bring it up, turn, forward, relax. Turn, forward. One last time, turn, and then relax. Okay? All right, so we're ready for the exercise now. Breathing exercise. The breathing exercise is tremendous. First of all, it exercises your diaphragm. And this thing is important. So whatever it is that we do, let the breath follow the body, not the other way. So let's say when we open, you open all the way, you continue to breathe out until the hand stops and you keep breathing, right? So you don't stop in the middle. The reason is that this exercise is designed to do the opposite of what you normally do. You actually breathe out when you open. And so when you already open your chest cage and you breathe out, there's no way to get more air unless you lift up your diaphragm, right? So if you stop breathing in the middle of the exercise, it doesn't help. So always remember, I will remind you. So it is about exercising the diaphragm. So you breathe deeper, right? Getting more oxygen in your body, and you breathe out more efficiently. Same thing, release more of the bad energy, bad air in your body. But it's also a meditation. It's also a meditation. All right, so now meditation means you anchor your body, and since you're doing exercise, you anchor on your hand, right? So follow the hand, focus on the hand, bring it up, bring it towards you, bring it back down, lower the knee, stand back up. All right, so that's simple. But don't stop the breathing in the middle of the exercise. All right, now what that means is that you breathe in and you breathe out. Breathe in, continue to breathe in until the hand stops a little bit more, and then breathe out. Don't stop in the middle. Breathe in, breathe out. Now change, breathe in. Now this one is so most obvious. You breathe out, you don't stop until you get to the end, right? So let the hand stop first and then the breath stop. Okay, you ready? Okay, back in, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. One last time, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Okay, now we're going to do standing meditation. When you do standing meditation, then you focus on your breath. All right. So back to the breath, one breath at a time. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. And same thing, right? So there's a beginning and an end. Beginning is when you commit, end is when you recommit. All right. Commit means that you make sure that your mind is actually on your breath, not somewhere else. You do this one breath at a time. You're not really committing the whole 1 minute. You're just committing one breath at a time, like you're putting coins in the piggy bank, one coin at a time. Okay. Now the second form is called balloon breathing. So you put your right foot in front, you lean back. So you're looking at the ceiling 45 degrees, the toes are up, right? Then you bring up your hand, you roll forward, so your heel is up on the left foot, and you embrace yourself. You're looking at the ceiling 45 degree, looking at the floor 45 degree, and you open it back again. You're looking at the ceiling 45 degree. Follow the hand, breathe in, follow the hand, breathe out. Don't stop in the middle, all the way, as much as you can. And then what you find then is that if you breathe out as hard as you can, then the breathing in part is easy. Breathe out. And let the breathe in part be natural, okay? And if you try to suck air in through your nostril, you would hyperventilate. Breathe in, breathe out. Completely empty your stomach, and then let the air comes in naturally. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. One last time. Breathe in, and then breathe out. Okay, now follow your hand. Come back. 1, 2, and then focus on your breath. 1 minute. Okay. Always commit at the beginning. Always recommit at the end. Completely relax. One breath at a time. Okay, now to the left. Get ready. Breathe in. Breathe out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Breathe in. Breathe out. In. Out. One last time. In. Out. Okay. I remember a few weeks ago, Martha mentioned that she does it half the speed. So every 2 times, she only does it 1 time. But then she makes sure that she stays focused on her body and not have her mind wander around. That's actually very good. Here, because I have different students in front of me, some of you might have different needs. I cannot slow it down that much, right? I got to keep you engaged. But when you're on your own, you can slow it down really, just slow it down, but make sure that your mind stays with your body. 1 minute. Okay. You know how people exercise, they put some weight on the body, and the idea is that they put the weight on the body, put more exertion on the body, and then when they finish, they let go of the weight, then they feel lighter. They feel here we're doing the same thing, except that we don't need to put additional weight on the body. That additional weight has always been on the body, and that's why we do 2 things, right? We adjust our posture so we're not using muscle, right? That already puts away the extra weight. And turns out that the other extra weight is your wandering mind. So if you land to anchor your mind on your body and on your breath, you actually lift, remove those additional weight, right? You feel lighter. You feel energy. Okay. All right. So next one is called the the butterfly. Okay. Now focus on the hand. Bring it up and bring it back down. Focus on the hand. Lower your knee. Embrace yourself, and then bring it back. Raise your heel. Focus on the center of your palm until the back of the hand touches. As you come down, breathe in. As you go up, you breathe out. Make sure you keep breathing out until the very end. Don't stop in the middle. Okay. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. In. Out. In. Out. One last time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Lower your hand. 1 more minute of standing meditation. Now, standing meditation is very good because it's really difficult to have wandering mind, because when you do have wandering mind, the body will fall. So the body actually tells you to stay focused on yourself. So this is good. One breath at a time. Okay. Next one is called push hand. It's basically a Tai Chi exercise, except that it's not martial art. So you don't have an opponent, you don't have any defense and offense. It's all about, it's all inward. And so because it's basically a Tai Chi exercise, we use all six joints: the wrist, the heel, the elbow, the knee, the shoulder, and the hip. Right? It's actually, it looks simple. Actually, now, so here, what you do is just stand like this. You don't have to lean back. Just stand like this. You take your hand, you focus on the hand as if you're following a water wheel in front of you, on top of you. Bring it back down, and then you lower your left foot as if you're sitting on your left foot. You're looking straight ahead at the center of the water wheel, and you push. Breathe in, you breathe in, open your shoulder, breathe in all the way down, and then breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. All this time, focus on your body, focus on the feeling of your body without really judging anything. Breathe in. I should say sensation, okay? Because feeling usually means thinking. Just the sensation of your body. Breathe out. In, out. One last time. In, out. Okay, back to the standing. 1 minute. Okay, now for the left. Now the trick here is that you breathe in, you open your shoulder all the way down, and then you, when you breathe out, you push from the lower back. Breathe in, breathe out. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, out. One last time. In, out. Back to the standing. This set of exercise is really life changing. It just changes your, because it really relieves the self healing power. Okay. Usually, when you cannot sleep, you have insomnia. They typically have very dry mouth, right? and they typically have some lightheadedness. So if they move too fast, they feel lightheadedness. It all has to do with their adrenal. And so this next exercise is about exercising adrenal. And so we breathe in, we breathe out, we bend our back forward, and then we breathe in again, and we bend our back. Okay, now keep breathing. Don't stop in the middle. Okay, get ready. Breathe out, breathe in. One last time. Breathe out, breathe in, and relax. Okay, now we're ready to do some sitting meditation. And this time, now you might not feel any of what I'm describing because you really haven't spent the time to practice. But if you do spend the time to practice, you will feel something actually rising in you as you cycle the energy back. And that's not so much the energy that is within you, that's actually resonance, magnetic resonance. Your body, the magnetic energy in your body, as you cycle the electricity like that, resonates with the magnetic energy in the universe. And so it's very important that you come back to the posture. You sit up straight like this. And we call this one pillar supporting the sky because your pillar is now the center of the universe. The universe is unbound. So you're the center as much as I'm the center. And what you will do now is that we focus on the breath. And this time is very obvious. When you breathe in, something opens because the diaphragm has muscle memory. We did all that hard work. Very easy to observe the breath now. So when your body breathes in, you rise all the way to the top, stretch your spine. And when you breathe out, you lean back and let it come down. Again, there's a beginning and an end. The beginning is when you commit. The end is when you recommit. And you're forming the triangle with the faith slash confidence and the mindfulness and the diligence. And you form the triangle. Focus on your breath, focus on your body, rise as you breathe in, return as you breathe out, recommit. And pretty soon you actually feel some energy rising within you. We start to call that the pearl, like the pearl that you put in front of the dragon. It's the shiny object for the dragon. The dragon is your mind. So now instead of forcing um, to go up, you're actually following it to go up. You rise to the top of the head, but you don't stop at the top of the head. This is what we mean by wandering. You let the dragon be free. You let your mind be free. So as you rise to the top of the head, you don't immediately turn around, make a 180-degree turn, but instead you imagine you're the dragon. You imagine there's a cloud on top of your head. You imagine the dragon sees is her ancestral home. So let the dragon be free. So it returns to the ancestral home, not to the top of the head. And then when you breathe out, let the dragon comes back, you lean back. And as you're making room for the dragon, let the dragon return to the stomach. The stomach is now the cave. So let the dragon rest. Don't be such a hurry. And when you breathe in again, rise. And when you breathe out, come back down. Okay. Now, when you get good at it, you can even go up to the cloud and then like looking back at the body and say, who is this? And when you do this, you feel after a while, you feel your head is really cool, your stomach is really warm. Okay. All right. So let's sit for 7 minutes. All right. Try the best you can. This is a fun exercise. All right. Okay, open your eyes. All right, a little bit of massage. Okay, so let's come back to, I think Rebecca is the one that says that she takes melatonin. And so I just want to remind everyone that um, not sleeping well at night is really a serious problem. There's been more and more study that associate dementia, onset of dementia, with uh, sleeping disorder. Right now, very often we think that sleep is just to restore the body. It doesn't take 8 hours to restore the body. 2 or 3 hours is all you need. All you need, unless you're a marathon runner. But we don't sleep just for the body. We actually sleep for our neurological health. And so very often we will sleep, and then when the body rests, we wake up. Wake up. That's the problem, is that the body already rests, but you don't give it a time, give it the time to restore to neurological health. So one of my favorite neurologists says that, well, it all comes down to neural, Neurl. So pay attention to nutrition. Stay away from food that are inflammatory. Okay, and um, pay attention to your probiotic health, but not take probiotic. Probiotic is external. Probiotic, we don't know what kind of probiotic we need. It could not. It could be the wrong kind. It could actually be the wrong kind and kills what's native. Don't worry about probiotic. Worry about prebiotic, right? Make sure that the environment where the probiotic thrive. So make sure you have food that are actually anti-inflammatory. Make sure you have food that actually with lots of fermentation. Make sure you stay away from over processed food. Make sure that make sure that you use as little preservative as possible. And so one of the comments that my wife made when we travel in Japan, when we travel in Japan, we stay away from the city. We don't go to Tokyo, Kyoto, all of the big city. We stay away from it. We're going to the mountain where we eat what the local people eat. And my wife always says, it's funny. I eat a lot of food, but I don't feel stuffed. I said, that's because they don't have preservative, or at least artificial preservatives. So they don't kill the probiotic in your small intestines, and so you can digest it much faster. So be careful what you eat. Stay away from sugar. Stay away from alcohol. Right? Anything that is distilled, that's alcohol. I don't count wine and sake as alcohol as much. They contain alcohol, but they're naturally fermented, right? So I think wine, especially red wine, is good for you. Good sake, rice wine is also good for you, and they not too much. So nutrition and right. So yi is for exercise. Pay attention to restorative exercise, not just energetic exercise. So running is good, but try to slow down and put yourself back into the rest and digest. So similarly, U is for unwinding. So learn to unwind, not just meditation. Meditation is good, but unwind by reading a book. There's something called ASMR. People start to understand. Just the sound, the repetitive sound already relaxes you. So figure out how to unwind yourself, put yourself into the rest and digest. One indication is your mouth dry. If your mouth is dry, you're not doing a good job in restoring your body. And then U is for unwinding. That's where sleep comes in. That's where sleep comes in. Petting your cat, especially if it's this is funny. If your pets, whether it's a cat or a dog, if there are, what do you call that when you go to the pound and rescue animal? Uh, there's a lot of love with pet, no question. But rescues are particularly interesting because you're actually saving a life. And so it's not just a pet, it's not something you bought with money. You actually actively save a life. And that connection is amazing, right? So I'm not saying that I used to throw away all your pets and give it back to the pet shop. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I just find it personal experiences. There's a level of compassion and loving kindness with rescues. There's plenty of it outside, right? And lots of people do rescue, lots of people do foster. Anyway, that's good. That's very good. Um, so unwinding, sleep is important, right? Try to go to sleep. Try to find a way so as soon as you fall down, you go to sleep quickly. Right? Don't look at the ceiling wandering. Right? Now that requires a lot of skill, meditation, focusing on your breath, one breath at a time, that kind of thing. Also, when you wake up in the middle of the night, don't make that into a second life. Don't go around the kitchen and try to heat up your milk and watch catch up on your iPhone, whatever. No, go back to sleep right away. Go back to sleep right away. Right? Try to really use that quality time. And finally, be open. Be open to the positive aspect of people. Be open to the compassion and love and kindness that people are capable of. Very easily we focus on the negative. It's much harder to focus on the positive. So when you see something, see the goodness in people. See the goodness in people. Right? When you have a chance to select thoughts, pick the good ones. Pick the good ones. Right? See the beauty around us. Be open to that. All right? Okay, end of class, and I promise I'll do one more talk today. Now, unfortunately, I cannot show a PowerPoint on Insight, but let me see if I could, if you guys can log into the YouTube, um, hang on, it's not that difficult, come on. I'll put that on the YouTube, and then unfortunately, oops, that's the wrong one. Hang on just 1 second. I think this is the one. Okay. Now I'm gonna put that on the outside. Now it's in Chinese, okay? So, but it's not important. What is important, I just want you to show the pictures, all right? So just look at the pictures. Now, the irony is that it was originally written in English, and Benjamin Hong actually had to translate it into uh, Chinese. Okay, so what I want to talk about is um, the power from within. So if you're looking at my YouTube or my Facebook, you will see this gentleman. His name is Larry, and he's 42 years old. He's 42 years old. He was someone that Venerable De Hong met in the prison. I believe it's in uh, Lancaster. It's in Southern California. And so Larry has been in prison for 22 years. He had an interest. He had a very. No, I'll come back to that. But the point is that, and this is a picture, Larry and Bernie Buti Hong, when Larry graduated. Now I'll come back to that. But who is Larry? So Larry is an individual whose parents came from Mexico. He was born here. He was born in the United States, and his parents came from Mexico. They were divorced. They were divorced. Um, so he grew up with a single parent, and I'm not sure if his mother was a drug addict or not. But he talked about how Larry was the only child. He and his mother lived in a shack, and his mother would bring boyfriends in all the time, different ones, of course, and he would be forced to sit in the sofa while his mother rendezvous with his boyfriend of the day. So he basically grew up with no supervision or love from his only parent he knows. And so when he was old enough to leave the house, he did. He left the house, he joined up with his friends, that was his family. And obviously, he got into all kinds of trouble, drugs, whatever, you name it. And when he was 20 years old, he got into a fight and he had a gun and he killed two people of the opposite gang, of course. And for that, he was sentenced to 25 years or life. So basically, it was a life sentence with the possibility of parole upon good behavior if he had served the minimum, which would be 25 years. So obviously, he had not served 25 years yet. He's only 42 years old. Now, it turns out that before he was in prison, he had a child with his girlfriend. He was never married. And so his child would be 22 today. But in any case, he found Venerable Hong in prison, was curious about what Venerable Hong was doing week in and week out, and started to get interested in meditation and start to really use mindfulness, what I call anchoring, to deal with his internal turmoil. And to put it simply, start to see the light within himself. And he took refuge and he started to abide to the precepts, which is no killing, no stealing, no use of toxic speech, no sexual deviance, which I mean, it doesn't matter, and then no use of intoxicants, which you can do in prison. So he didn't do any of that. And then he found his inner strength and he enrolled in college and he actually got his 4-year degree while he was in prison. Now, just think about all the people that were helping him, including Venerable Hong, right? There's a lot of people. This is why I believe in the goodness of us. There are so many of us who are out there helping people, including those who are incarcerated. And you'd be surprised how many people line up to get into the prison to either um, to do high school education, to do college education, not only bachelor but master level. So after he finished his 4-year degree, he continued and he just finished his master's degree. And now he's enrolled in a program to actually train. The left is Larry, the one on the left is Larry, to train dogs. And a picture of Venerable Hong with him in his graduation. And finally, he meet up with his son, his 22-year-old son that he had never met. For some reason, they never visited him. And then they came to his graduation. So that was Larry in the middle with his mother, and I believe his grandmother or aunt on his right. On his left is his 22-year-old son and the son's mother, his former boyfriend, and another relative. Anyway, my point is that um, there's a lot of positivity within us. We just have to figure out how to tap into it. I always use the example of the sun and the cloud. Every day is a sunny day. The sun is always there. But sometimes the sun doesn't get past the cloud. And so here, all we're doing is learn to push aside the cloud, and then you will see the sun. The sun is within you. Okay, all right. Okay, see you all next week. Okay, 星期一見. Okay, bye bye.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Sing.
Okay, bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Bye bye.